Meet Dowan, an average 18-year-old high school student who despises video games. But there's a catch. He's what's known as a game shuttle. Bullied relentlessly, Dowan is forced to grind in games on other people's accounts while enduring their taunts. He's had enough of the hypocrisy. He never wanted to play in the first place. Picture this, Dowan skillfully maneuvering 8 different devices simultaneously, his attention divided among them. Then, out of the blue, Arunju, a beautiful and popular girl from school, whom Dowan secretly admires, strikes up a conversation about the very game he's grinding. Astonished that she even knows his name, which is not that impressive really, Dowan's focus wavers, leading to his in-game demise. Oh no, that's not all. Dowan's death results in the loss of a vital item meant for a bully named Chow-woo Min. Yes, that's right, the bully. Fuming with rage, Chow-woo pummels Dowan mercilessly, despite Dowan's offer to compensate him with an item from his own inventory. Tough times for Dowan indeed. Chow-woo then reveals a daunting ultimatum. Dowan must acquire the legendary equipment, the Fire King's greatsword, within a week. Failure to do so would result in a humiliating public display of violence in front of Arunju. Something is definitely sus here, and violence is imminent. Fortunately, there's more to Dowan than meets the eye. Though he despises being a game shuttle, he's actually a game enthusiast. The catch? He prefers playing on his own accounts. Understandable, right? And to add a twist of fate, Dowan was already a max-level player in Roast RPG. Oops, turns out the level cap has doubled since he last played, leaving him woefully behind. Moreover, drop rates for items have worsened as the game studio capitalizes on microtransactions. Talk about being thirsty for profits. Days pass with Dowan enduring relentless grinding sessions that yield nothing but the crappiest loot from challenging bosses. It seems like he's destined for failure and a well-deserved beating. Not in that way, mind you. But just when hope is about to fade, a max-level player swoops in, obliterating the boss Dowan was struggling against. After a humble request, Dowan is accepted into their party, riding on their coattails to victory. How convenient. In a matter of minutes, Dowan not only secures the Fire King's greatsword for Chow-woo, but also the even more powerful Fire God's greatsword. Being the honorable person he is, Dowan selflessly hands it over to his partner, acknowledging their contribution to their success. With the task accomplished, Dowan logs out of the game to catch up on some much-needed sleep, but here comes the unexpected twist. Exhaustion and malnourishment take their toll, and Dowan succumbs. Wait, what? Suddenly he finds himself engulfed in pitch-black darkness, only for a game-like system prompt to appear before him. Assigned the class of Powerless Game Shuttle, Rudd, Dowan is presented with a quest and teleported to a predetermined location by the system's administrator. In a surreal turn of events, he relives the day he spoke to Arunju, and as he glances at what appears to be his character status screen, a pop-up notification catches his attention. The characteristic effect of his class is activated, granting Dowan the accumulated experience from every game he has ever played. As the system calculates the magnitude of this newfound power, Chow-woo, the bully, makes an untimely return for another round of beating. Come on, system, hurry up! But this time, Arunju intervenes, defending Dowan against the bully's assault. Unable to bear witness to someone else's pain, Dowan musters the courage to retaliate, delivering a powerful punch to the bully's hand, catching it mid-air. "You're screwed, man," Dowan boldly declares. And just like that, the system completes its final calculations. In an instant, Dowan's class upgrades to Superior, gaining him the title of Game Shuttle. Equipped with a devastating attack skill straight out of a game, Dowan proceeds to demolish his adversary, Minwoo. Sitting there in disbelief over what he had just done, Dowan receives a system pop-up message from the administrator. The peculiar speech instantly gives away the sender's identity. It's the same person who aided him in Roast RPG. Another notification follows, declaring his victory over the monster Chow-woo Min, propelling him to the maximum level. However, there's a catch. The system has sealed all his stats down to a mere 1.4. As if that wasn't bad enough, Dowan has an unexpected encounter with Shin Jaemin, a notorious delinquent. Jaemin witnessed the altercation between Dowan and Chow-woo, and now believes that Dowan possesses hidden power. Wanting to recruit him as an ally, Jaemin invites Dowan to a drinking party later that night. Sensibly, Dowan initially declines. But alas, it turns out to be a quest. If he refuses, Dowan will endure excruciating pain in a rather sensitive area for a full hour. Reluctantly, he accepts the invitation. That night, Dowan finds himself enchanted by the beauty of the girls accompanying Jamin, sitting with them at a karaoke bar. Just when he begins to question Jamin's true nature, the delinquent reveals his colors. Jamin bullies a classmate named Yu Zhan, using him as a wallet shovel to pay for their indulgences. Unable to bear witness to such humiliation, Dowan excuses himself and heads to the bathroom. After all, with his sealed stats, there's little he can do, right? But something gnaws at him, a sense of familiarity between Jamin's situation and his own with Chul Wu. He can't stand by and let Jamin suffer. Gathering his courage, Dowan decides to fake confidence and confront Jamin upon returning to the karaoke room. However, Jamin's intimidating friend, Yuk Man Chun, arrives, resembling more of a mafia boss than a high schooler. Fear takes hold of Dowan, causing him to retract his statement and claim he only wanted the microphone for his turn at karaoke. As he steps onto the stage, a new quest pops up, tasking him with smacking Jamin's head with the mic within a 30-minute time limit. Failure to comply will result in the same penalty as before. Though tempted, Dowan hesitates, realizing the danger in such an act. As they all settle back down, Yuk questions how someone like Dowan could have defeated Chul Wu. Jamin insists it's true and makes his offer. He wants Dowan to join their gang and use his newfound power to make them the strongest, ensuring they will never be bullied again. It's a tempting proposition, but a whispered remark from Jihan gives Dowan pause. Can he truly align himself with the very people who have tormented him for so long? Will a better life be worth it? Determined to endure the consequences of his penalty, Dowan retreats to the bathroom alone, preparing himself for what lies ahead. However, as he faces the pivotal moment, he realizes he cannot go through with it. When Jamin enters the bathroom, Dowan smashes his head with the mic, causing him to collapse. Empowered by his act, Dowan decides to free Jihan. He seizes Jamin's phone and sends provoking messages to Yuk, luring him outside, granting Jihan an opportunity to escape. But suddenly, a shadow looms over Dowan. It's Yuk, who has seen through the ruse. Now, it's payback time. Yuk delivers a brutal beating, knocking Dowan senseless. Desperate for a means to fight back, Dowan pleads for assistance. At that moment, his skill window materializes, presenting a locked shape. Finally, he has something to utilize his golden key on. As Yuk attends to Jamin, he hears Dowan rising to his feet, encased in a blue aura. Deshul is ready for round 2. Dowan, the perpetual loser, refuses to be beaten by bullies anymore. However, his plan doesn't go as smoothly as he had hoped. Unfortunate, but that seems to be a recurring theme for him. The unlocked skill, Falcon Drop, is a devastating dropkick that can knock anyone out. There's just one problem. It requires 120 mana, and Dowan only has 100. Great. After enduring another merciless beating from Manchun, Dowan ponders his situation. The golden key granted him the skill, but he also received a copper key from defeating Jamin, which could potentially increase his mana. Desperate to return to the bathroom for a key drop, Dowan finds himself confronted by Manchun once again. After enduring a severe thrashing, Dowan employs a clever trick to deceive Manchun into letting him go. Guess he's not as sharp as he looks. Finally reaching the location of the key, Dowan manages to acquire it and replenish his mana by 100 points just in the nick of time. As Manchun pounces on him, Dowan taps into his newfound power, executing Falcon Drop with finesse. In one swift motion, he jumps off the thug's knee, landing a powerful kick that shakes the very ground. With this victory, he receives another key, this time a silver one. There's no time to celebrate, though, as Jamin appears, accompanied by Manchun's older brother and a group of their friends. Dowan is in trouble. It was a thrilling story while it lasted. With no plan in sight and his mana depleted, things don't look too promising for our hero. Fortunately, the manager of Nanatilla Bar barges in, revealing that someone had reported underage drinking. To avoid arrest, everyone must leave immediately. How convenient. Oh, wait, there's a catch. Exhausted from his ordeal, Dowan collapses. When he awakens, he finds himself in the women's bathroom, accompanied by one of the girls from J-Men's group. What on earth is going on? Ah, she saved him. How cool. It turns out she witnessed his fight with Manchun and was impressed by the Falcon Drop. She was the one who called the police. Impressive. She tells Dowan that he owes her a favor, and he should remember that. It's bound to come back to haunt him. 3 days later, Dowan wakes up in his apartment after a long slumber. After experiencing death and being transported a week into the past, his first instinct is to log into Roast RPG and locate the player who now serves as the administrator of his system. Unfortunately, that player's ID has been deleted. Clearly, they don't want to talk to Dowan at the moment. With that plan out of the window, Dowan decides to gather his thoughts about the system. Bullies are classified as monsters within the game, and by defeating them, he receives keys as rewards. Bronze keys unlock sealed stats, silver keys grant passive skills, and gold keys provide access to special moves or active skills. Just as he finishes pondering, the doorbell rings. Dowan assumes it's his takeout food delivery, rushing to answer it. But wait, a pop-up appears. It's a quest called The Boy Becomes a Man. Standing at his doorstep is the girl who saved him previously. Her first demand is for Dowan to take off his clothes. Oh, she just meant it's too hot in his apartment, not what you were thinking. After entering his place, she promptly criticizes his fashion sense and insists he needs a better outfit. She takes him clothes shopping and finds him a suitable ensemble, explaining that he needs to look at least somewhat cool if he's going to spend the day with her. After all, it's her wish. For the rest of the day, Dowan allows the system to guide him, going on various activities like having a meal, watching a movie, visiting a cafe, and even going to an arcade. Wait a second, this is like a date. Since when does the system help you score with girls? Sorry, got carried away there. Definitely not jealous of Dowan. Throughout their day together, Dowan learns that the girl's name is Cian. At the arcade, they encounter a muscular guy who tries to bully Dowan for talking to her. Fortunately, Cian steps in and claims that Dowan is her boyfriend. Well, that escalated quickly. I guess they're officially a couple now. As the day draws to a close, Cian takes Dowan to their final destination, Asana. Things are about to heat up. Get it? Okay, I'll stop. Dowan starts panicking, fearing that he's an inexperienced young man. Fortunately, or unfortunately, it turns out they're not here for anything inappropriate at all. Cian has actually brought him to witness a meeting with the Guanajuato region's bully organization. Yeah, that's a thing. It sounds absurd, I know. Oh, and they're announcing a bounty on Dowan's head for defeating Chowu and Manchun. No big deal. There are 497 of them, so evading them won't be easy. No big deal. I'm not in denial, you're in denial. Right after the announcement, Dwayne's quest pop-up changes to the final stage of the Boy Becomes a Man quest. It turns out Cian brought Dwayne here for a specific reason. While the bullies initially targeted him, Cian proposes that he becomes a candidate for the leader position, someone who can control their own group, area, or squad, essentially a higher-ranked bully. She suggests making Dwayne the leader of the Boromidong area, considering he has already proven his strength by defeating the bullies he did. It seems like a reasonable idea. They all agree, except for Dwan, who doesn't want to ally with a group of bullies. But then again, his only alternative is to fight almost 500 of them. Okay, maybe it's not such a bad idea. Cian reveals that she supports Dwan over the other candidate for the leader position. And who's that other candidate? None other than Kang, the not-so-friendly neighborhood bully. Since they are both candidates, the bullies decide that the only way to settle it is through a fight. Not the brightest bunch, but they sure have brawn. Dwan decides to stand his ground and launches a falcon drop at Kong. Unfortunately, it fails. Kong has remarkably high defenses. With his mana depleted and unable to attack again, Dwan is defenseless as Kong puts him in a headlock. As Kong chokes him, Dwan realizes why he looks familiar. Kong was the same fat, ugly bully who made Dwan's life miserable back in middle school. Even after gaining the incredible system, Dwan still has to endure his torment. Not a chance. Dwan rises to his feet, determined to destroy Kong. He throws his jacket to the ground and charges at Kang with a plan in mind. The passive skill he obtained from the silver key should help him win. It allows him to inflict critical hits that bypass the target's defenses. With this move, he'll defeat Kong. Well, things don't go as planned. Turns out the skill only has a 1% chance of activating. Dwan's genius strategy of landing 100 hits to guarantee a critical hit is flawed. Probability doesn't work that way, my friend. Instead of landing a critical hit, Dwan embarrasses himself with feeble punches. Exhausted and frustrated, Kong grabs him by the neck and slams him into the ground. As Dwan shouts in rage about Kong's actions in middle school, Kong continues to pummel him. It seems like Dowan's will to fight has left him, but he musters up one last ounce of strength and stands up again. The crowd watches in awe as Dowan displays incredible courage. Well, sort of. Truth be told, he's actually eyeing the emergency exit, planning his escape. While distracting Kang with some half-baked stories of their friendship in the past, Dowan makes his move, and fails, kind of. He trips on his own jacket that he dropped earlier, but his palm accidentally strikes Kang's chest as he falls. And guess what? The critical hit finally activates. Kang is sent flying into the elevator doors with a loud crash and falls to the ground unconscious. The other bullies are astonished and start speculating about the skill they witnessed Dowan use. Pure luck, guys. Pure as a blind bat in purgatory luck. Oh, and look who's back on his feet. Kang is angrier than ever. Fun times. Dowan is smiling, though I was being sarcastic. This is not going to end well. Oh, come on. He's riding the high of the critical hit finally activating, feeling almost invincible. Use your brain, Dowan. Well, never mind. Off he goes. Luckily, this time Dowan actually uses his brain. While feinting another chest shot, he swiftly punches Kang's nose sideways, exploiting the universal weakness of all beings. Then he grabs Kang's nostrils from behind and pulls them up like a nose hook. With no choice but to forfeit or lose his nose, Kang surrenders, declaring Dowan as the winner of their battle. As Dowan celebrates, the damage machine behind him comes into contact with a puddle of water. You know what that means. Boom! The entire bully council scrambles to evacuate the building in a wild stampede. It's a blazing mess in there. No? Okay, I'll stop. Outside on the street, Dowan realizes that Cian is still inside. Being a hopeless romantic, I mean a caring gentleman, Dowan rushes back to save her. Despite barely knowing her, he can't help but be concerned for her well-being. When he returns to the floor they were on, he bursts through the door and announces that he's there to rescue her. Wait, where's the fire? Ah, it turns out the meeting organizer extinguished it with a fire extinguisher. It wasn't as big of a fire as he thought. Well, that's awkward. Later, Dowan drops Cian off at her home before heading back to his own. Although he's unsure of what to say or do, Cian seems to have it all figured out. She smiles, thanks him for coming to save her, and heads inside. Afterward, Dowan opens the system pop-up to receive his rewards for completing the Becoming a Man quest. To his surprise, he sees something shocking. It's the first day of 12th grade. Dowan arrives at school early to set up all his gaming equipment as a game shuttle. However, he's taken aback to find someone already in the classroom. And it's someone Cian warned him about. Someone he should always avoid. It's Han Young-sun, the most dangerous bully in Wanak, and a fellow student. Luckily, Young-sun doesn't pick a fight with Dowan. He actually finds something amusing about Dowan and proposes an alliance, vowing to protect Dowan from anyone in Silindong and his area. How kind. Weirdly enough, as the first day of school progresses, Dowan is surprised that no one has attempted to force him to play games. The usual bullying is also conspicuously absent. Everything seems unusually peaceful. Young-sun must have kept his promise to keep the Silindong folks in line. During the break, when Dowan heads to the bathroom, he encounters Shin Jaemin. Contrary to his expectations, Jaemin treats Dowan with a sense of deference. Well, Dowan did deliver quite the beatdown. Later in class, Dowan receives a gift from Erin. She expresses gratitude for his help with Cho-woo before and presents him with a live octopus, suggesting it will help with his stamina. What the actual hell, Erin? I don't care if it's beneficial. Dowan better not eat that thing. But before he can decide, a peculiar new guy approaches Dowan and demands that he play games for him. Oh, thank goodness, oh no, that's just what he needs. Filled with anger at the interruption of his conversation with Erin, Dowan marches up to the guy's seat and forcefully slams his phone onto the desk. Sporting a smug expression, he warns the guy to play his own games if he values his life. Okay, maybe he's getting a bit too cocky now. Oh, and what do you know? Dowan doesn't realize it, but this guy, Sumlu, is a member of the Bonxian Dowan, an associate of the Wanak District Bully Council. Surprisingly enough, Sumlu appears to be a rather calm individual. He admits that he didn't mean to come across as rude. He simply heard that Dowan enjoys playing games and does it for others. With that misunderstanding cleared up, they turn away from each other. Unfortunately for Dowan, Erin was escorted out of the classroom by one of her friends before she could witness him standing up for himself. That was his entire reason for doing this. Come on, man. But wait, it's lunchtime, so if he hurries, Dowan might be able to catch up with Erin and eat with her. That would be amazing. However, his wrist is suddenly grabbed, and when he turns around, he's surprised to see Jihan, the guy he helped out with Jaemin's mess earlier. Jihan is trying to warn Dowan about Sumlu. When Dowan asks why Sumlu is a problem since he seemed reasonable, Jihan concedes that it's true. Sumlu is generally a calm person who doesn't bully others without reason, nor does he lose his temper when provoked, but there's one thing that triggers a drastic change in him: when someone cuts in line ahead of him. Wait, seriously? That's it? Of all things, that's what sets him off. Well, can't say I understand though. In the cafeteria, Sumlu is mercilessly attacking a senior student with astonishing speed for the exact offense. He really despises line cutters. With Jihan's warning fresh in his mind and witnessing the cafeteria incident, Dowan feels somewhat relieved. As long as he doesn't cut in line ahead of Sumlu, he won't have to worry about angering him. That's great. Now if only the system felt the same way. Just as Dowan is about to head home for the day, a quest pop-up appears abruptly. Within the next 10 minutes, he must sprint to Sumlu and cut in front of him. If he fails, he'll face the dreaded penalty of penile pain. Try saying that 5 times fast. Rushing across campus in search of Sumlu, Dowan stumbles upon a nerdy student beaten in an alley. This student was also beaten by Sumlu for inadvertently cutting in front of him due to rushing for class. Seeing the student in tears, Dowan offers him a napkin to wipe his face. With only 2 minutes remaining for his quest, he tells the student that he reminds him of himself. For the sake of both of them, he'll seek revenge on Sumlu. Armed with a keychain containing several system keys, Dowan emerges from the alley, ready to vomit his guts out. What? Being a protagonist is nerve-wracking, man. 6 days ago, when Dowan received the rewards for the chain quest with Sion, he obtained 4 bronze keys and a single gold key. He decided it would be wiser to save these keys for a time of need, as he can choose which stat to boost with them. He wanted to wait and see the fighting style of his next opponent before enhancing himself accordingly. And so, in the present day, Dowan does just that. Having analyzed Sumlu's fighting style, he confidently confirms that his opponent relies heavily on speed. Using the gold key, he unlocks a new attack with a mana cost of 20 called Blind Spot Strike. With this ability, he can unleash a flurry of attacks without worrying about running out of mana. Just to be safe, he utilizes a bronze key to boost his mana to 300. He then allocates the remaining bronze keys into a single stat, optimizing his chances of victory. With his preparations complete, Dowan sets off in pursuit of Sumlu. The quest clock is ticking, and he only has 2 minutes remaining. At the station, Sumlu is on the verge of attacking a girl who dashed past him to catch her bus. That's definitely not cool. Just in the nick of time, Dowan arrives at the scene, grabbing Sumlu by his hoodie and pulling him back. He swiftly passes by Sumlu, completing the first stage of his current quest. As a result, the next stage is activated. Defeat the monster, Sumlu. Well, that's going to be considerably more challenging, Mr. System, sir. Before Sumlu can react, Dowan unleashes a blind spot strike, dealing some damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't slow Sumlu down in the slightest, and he swiftly catches up to Dowan, ripping off his backpack. In desperation, Dowan executes a triple blind spot strike, delivering multiple hits in quick succession. Although each strike individually lacks significant impact due to its low mana cost, their combined effect is quite damaging. Unfortunately for Dowan, this only serves to make Sumlu get serious, like really serious. He drops his backpack to the ground with a resounding crash and suddenly appears in front of Dowan with astonishing speed, too fast for Dowan to even see properly. Dowan can't land a single hit on him anymore. Sumlu blitzes him with lightning-fast attacks that he can't evade. Cornered and with no way out, Dowan resorts to what he knows best, gaming. By treating the fight as a video game battle, he analyzes the best strategy to fight back in his current situation. By using his blind spot strikes as feints, he manages to land a powerful back fist straight to Sumlu's face. Although it's just a normal punch, it inflicts significant damage. Dowan understood from the start that he couldn't defeat Sumlu in a direct speed-based battle, so he used his bronze keys to maximize his attack power instead. Now, even a single hit can hurt Sumlu. As long as the system turns everything into a game, Dowan is unbeatable. Throughout the battle, Dowan attempts to predict Sumlu's attacks as if they were part of a game. However, Sumlu surprises him with a sudden move, using his legs to launch an attack instead of his fists. The kick lands squarely on Dowan's forehead, sending him crashing to the ground. Undeterred, Dowan tries to feint Sumlu once again with blind spot strikes, hoping to catch him off guard. Unfortunately, Sumlu sees through the trick and remains unfazed. One of them actually knows how to fight, and unfortunately, it's the bad guy. Seizing Dowan's arm, Sumlu delivers a heel kick to his chin, sending him sprawling to the ground. As Sumlu approaches, Dowan has a sudden realization. He has legs. All right, Mr. Quirkless, how did you not realize that sooner? He's been using blind spot strike with his fingers the whole time, but the move doesn't specify which body part to use. Armed with this knowledge, Dowan executes a leg sweep, combining it with his skill to trip up Sumlu. With Sumlu momentarily disabled, Dowan unveils his secret trump card, Octopus Ink. That's unexpected. It turns out he had the octopus that Aaron gifted him the entire time, concealing it in Sumlu's hoodie when their fight began. As Sumlu drops to the ground, Dowan starts recounting his sad past. Horrible father, difficult upbringing, and developing psychotic behavior. You get the idea, it's like Gara, but with a much more worthless dad. While Sumlu is caught up in his emotional outpouring, the octopus emerges from the hoodie and attaches itself to his head. When Sumlu tries to remove it, the octopus releases a cloud of ink that blinds him. Dowan seizes the opportunity and prepares to deliver the finishing blow. With a powerful double-handed axe strike to the head, Dowan sends Sumlu crashing down before delivering a blind spot strike headbutt to his chin. The battle concludes and Dowan dedicates this victory to Oran. His triumph over Sun Wu earns him a bundle of keys, 1 gold key and 2 bronze keys. Since his HP is severely depleted after the intense fight, he uses one of the bronze keys to increase his HP stat. Excitedly, he unlocks another random active skill with the golden key, and to his delight, it turns out to be the multi-hit strike, the move he used to defeat Cho Wu before it was sealed away. Although it's a powerful technique, it costs a whopping 200 mana points to activate. With this in mind, Dowan invests his remaining bronze key into mana, raising his MP to 400. Content with his choices, Dowan decides to keep Oran's octopus as a cherished memento and squeezable stress reliever. Not the most creative decision, huh? It's clear that he's not particularly observant either, as he fails to notice that Squishy is currently in the cat's mouth. And so, the life of Dowan's cherished comrade comes to an end. Farewell, Squishy. You will be missed. Back in his apartment, Dowan receives a call from his mother, reminding him to visit his father's grave on his upcoming death anniversary. Since his mother is unable to go due to her business trips, Dowan will have to make the visit alone this year. The next day at school, Jihan informs Dowan that Sun Wu is absent from class today, which is quite unusual. With feigned ignorance, Dowan wonders if his victory over Sun Wu means he can finally enjoy some semblance of peace in his life. Oh, you naive little boy, you're a main character. Peace is a luxury you won't get. True to that sentiment, a large group of thugs storms into the school and heads straight for Dowan's classroom. Their leader demands that Dowan accompany them to Bonchendong. Thanks to his well-honed danger sense developed from years of being a bully's target, Dowan knows that wouldn't end well for him. Refusing to go along, Dowan is asked a question by the leader. Can he really take on all 10 of them alone? Just then, another figure enters the scene. Han Young-sun steps forward and questions the leader's actions. When one of the subordinate thugs tries to belittle him, Han swiftly performs a simple leg swipe that shatters the thug's leg and leaves him writhing on the floor. Asserting his dominance, Han Young-sun declares that they can't have Dowan and drops one of the most epic lines in manhwa history. Can they truly face him with just 10 of them? Damn, that line is fire. With that ultimate mic drop moment, Han proceeds to systematically dismantle each thug present with minimal effort. He truly is a force to be reckoned with. After easily dispatching the underlings, Han Young-sun leaves their leader to clean up the mess, and instructs Dowan to meet him at the snack bar. At the snack bar, Han Young-sun asks Dowan about his motivations. The sudden question catches Dowan off guard, causing a resident shuttle, one of the onlookers, to squirt juice out of his nose in surprise. Han clarifies his inquiry, wondering why Dowan became a bully representative and simultaneously fights against other bullies. Trying to play it cool, Dowan turns to Han and proudly declares himself a bully hunter. Wait, did he forget he's literally talking to a bully? Fortunately for him, and in a somewhat peculiar turn of events, Han bursts into laughter and wishes Dowan good luck with his goal. That has to be foreshadowing of some kind. I'm calling it now.